Hello, I just wanted to show you how to fill out the reimbursement form. This might be different for some of you who have used the Excel spreadsheet. That one automatically calculates. This one doesn't. And for those who are using this one, I want to make sure you can calculate it yourself if you so desire. If you just want to type in what you have to and then email it to your administrative assistant, she can calculate it for you. That would be me. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to type in your name, address, your city, state, and your zip code, and then your country. What you type in here will automatically fill in these boxes below. And then you're going to come over here, click on the box where the arrow will appear, click on the arrow, and then you click on the date. And usually you put the date you are filling this in. The reimbursement rate is already filled in for you, which is 0.14, and then your invoice number we're going to come back to because there's a reason why you can't do this one right away. Next, you're going to type in your phone, your email, your state, and the ward. And then we'll get down here where we'll start our reimbursement process. You're going to type in, excuse me, you're going to type in your home address, and then you're going to type in your address where you teach seminary. That could be a church building or someone else's house. Then right below this is the purpose. So I'm putting down driving to seminary. And next to that, you're going to put the total round trip mileage. So that means you're going to put the mileage that it takes to get to the church building and back. So 5 miles to, 5 miles back equals 10, right? This is something you're going to want to do Google Maps for to make sure you have an accurate count of mileage. And I do have to turn in a map when I turn this in. So we do want to make sure it matches up. If yours is different from the Google Maps, I will have to change it to what Google Maps does say, just so you know. Down here, you're going to put down the months of the term. This is looking like a spring term. We have January, February, March, April, and May. And then you're going to click on these boxes. They each have a number next to them, and those numbers represent the date of the month. So I'm going to click on the date that I taught seminary. I drove to there and came back. And then I'm going to do that for every month that I drove to seminary. Some months are going to be longer than others due to holidays, vacations, whatever, right? So it's going to vary up a little bit. In this column, what you're going to do next is you're going to count the number of days. So all those check marks is for January, I'm going to add up, or count up, I should say. And then I'm going to times that total by the amount of round trip, which is number 10. So I did 20 days of traveling in January. I times it by 10, which is my round trip mileage, and that gives me 200. Once I have that number, I can calculate this number, which is I calculate the reimbursement rate, which is 0.14 times the total month miles, which I just calculated, which is 200. So 200 times 0.14 gives me $28. I do that same calculation for every month that I need to get reimbursed. And once I have that all done, I put my totals down here in these two boxes. This one I add up, which gives me 1,060. In this column I add up, gives me $148.40. Now, you could be done, or you might have one more mileage or two more things to fill in, depending on how much you drove. This is a varied travel. So this is stuff you can get reimbursement. That does not mean you drove to teach seminary. For instance, I have on January 5th, my home address to the UTSA building for me to attend the teacher seminary in service. That took me 15 miles. 15 miles times 0.14 gives me $2.10. If I did that more than once, I can continue to enter that in here. Don't forget, because I forgot to add, to put the return date. So same date, right? Except for I'm going to swap my addresses. Oops, sorry. Because I am doing my return home, which you get reimbursed for both ways, right? Like you do up top. And the purpose will be the same thing. Seminary in service. And the mileage would be 15 miles back home, which is another $2.10, which means this is wrong, which is $4.20. and this is 30 miles total. When you do that, you're going to calculate $148.40 plus $4.20. Once you have a total, you're going to put your total here, and then you're going to do your receipt expenses if you have any. If you don't have any, you're done. You have no more calculations to do. But if you do have receipt expenses, I'm going to show you how to do that now. I'm going to go to page 2. In page 2, this is where you're going to enter the merchant name. So I shopped at Walmart. My purpose was I needed to buy paper for my class, and it cost me $10. Then I have to put that in the total column, and then down below I have to put it in the total column. I'm going to scroll back up, and then I'm going to scroll back down here where I entered in my receipt expenses, which was $10. Now, all I have to do next is add $150.50 plus $10, which is going to give me $160.50. And then you put that in the grand total because there's no extras like taxes or stuff like that. So it's $160.50 for my reimbursement. Now, I told you about that invoice number. We're going to scroll back up to the invoice number and enter that in now that we have our total reimbursement amount. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in the date that you put up here, just backwards, so 2023 of April 26th, dash the total amount on your reimbursement, which was 16050. No decimal, just the numbers. And that will give you your invoice number. When you have everything completed, don't forget to scroll down and sign down here. Oh, I went too far. Sign your reimbursement form. This is very important. If you are using PDF and you are able to do the signature, you can sign yourself, click on it, drag it down, and it'll put your name, and you can type in today's date, and you can send it to the administrative assistant where they will approve it and sign it below you. Now, this is something you want to keep in mind. Receipts, I have to have original receipts. I cannot have you email me receipts and you keep the original. So if you are turning in receipts, you either have to mail it or you can turn it in person. That'll be up to you and how far away you live. But usually people just mail them in. The next thing is if you are reimbursed, if you're doing receipts, you only get $50 per term. So please be careful on what you're spending. If you go over your $50, we cannot reimburse you. And it's not per it is not per class, it is per teacher. So if you have 2 teachers in a class, in one class, they each get $50 for that term, which is kind of nice, right? And then also, if you're able to, send the copy of the maps that you use for Google Maps, and then I won't have to look it up myself. It'll save me some time. If you have any questions or problems, please do not hesitate to ask, and I can help you with whatever you need.